'Cause nobody's perfect, darling. Okay, good afternoon. Good afternoon, everyone. Today, Third World Network is not stopping me. So I have decided that whether my network likes it or not, I am going to come live today. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to this live broadcast. It is starting way later than we had planned for it to start. Okay, so all right, I think I need to turn this music down. One second, please. So I had planned to come on here, and then at the time that we're supposed to start, I tried to log on, and boom, that's it. My system, the network won't work, and all that, And at some point, it peaked. Let's not even waste time with that. I peaked at some point, and then at 3:30, that was supposed to come up again. It started having the same, glitch. But hey, thank goodness we're here right now. So good evening, everyone. Welcome to this live broadcast. Nothing is dulling us. My name is Maribeth Chima. I am always excited to be on your screen. So I'm super excited to be on your screen right now. So if you are with me, if you come live, please, if you come on stream, if you come on, just let me know where you're watching me from. I am streaming from the capital city of Nigeria, Abuja. So let us know where you're watching from, and please give StreamYard access so that we can see who is commenting and see what you are saying in the comments. Okay, so I'm using both of my I'm using both of my gadgets right now, so I may not be able to see some of your comments. But hey, if you are on Facebook, please go ahead and put your comments. If I don't see them right now, I will check them before the end of the session. And if you're on YouTube, go ahead and do the same. So today, we are talking about how we can help our children transit from the holiday to the classroom. So I don't know about you. I have received a message from school saying, get ready, like school is about to resume and all of that. So in the next 2 weeks or thereabouts, the children will be back to school. All right. So sometimes we just take it for granted that it's time to go to school, and we don't put too much thought into our children going back to school, and that on its own is a block, or that on its own is not a good move. Not thinking about school seriously and not making sure that our children and we prepare to go back to school. Okay, I had a post up today, and I talked about how when I was a teacher in the classroom. Okay, the last time I was in the classroom, how I had to prepare to go back to school. Okay, so it's not the time you want to take for granted. I promise you. As I said in that post, your child is about to have another influencer or more influencers in their lives, or a different set of influencers in their lives, whether you like it or not. Okay, so our children are going to have their new teacher is going to be their new classroom or homeroom teacher, and then the many other teachers, but most especially their homeroom teacher is is a huge part of your child's life, or it's going to be a huge part of your child's life for the next 1 year. So that person's voice is going to be as strong as your voice in the mind or in the head of your child, if not stronger, depending on who you are or what kind of parents you are. Okay, in some cases, your child's teacher is probably going to have more access to your child than you will have in the next 1 year. Because, hey, this is the person that your child is with. Guaranteed, your child is with, guaranteed for 8 hours every day. Or am I mistaken? 6 to 8 hours every day your child is with this human being. And by virtue of the teacher's work, right? By virtue of the teacher's work, the teacher is not just in the room, or the teacher is not just in the same space with your child. The teacher is present and the teacher is paying attention to your child. The teacher has access, full access to your child, and the teacher makes use of that access with your child. So you see the difference. So it depends on how you are as a parent or how busy you are as a parent. Chances are your child's teacher probably has more access than you have, spends more time than you spend with your teacher, so with your child. So meaning this person has the liberty, okay, or has the opportunity to imprint on your child's mindset. Okay, this person has the opportunity and the ability to sell an ideology to your child and has enough time to make your child internalize it. So if your teacher has a particular way, that if their teacher has a particular way or a particular thing that he wants to step down to your child, okay, whatever that thing is, positive or negative, the teacher has the full attention of your child. So your child will be listening to this person. This person has enough time to sell that idea to your child, help the child practice it, okay? Yeah, help your child practice it and help your child internalize it. So no, the teacher, your child's teacher is not a person to joke with. Okay, it's not a person to joke with. So from day one, you want to take your relationship, your connection, your first impression, and meeting that teacher, you want to take it seriously. Okay, this is your partner. This is like a very huge partner, okay, for this 1 year of the child's life. Another group of people that will be influencing your children or your child for the next 1 year are their friends. So no, you want to pay attention to who your child's classmates are. It's not what this is not the time to ignore who is in their classroom. So you want to pay attention to the new kids, especially in the classroom. You want to know, you want to have a lot of conversations with your children at this period, okay, because you want to know the new things that are coming into their lives, or the new people that are coming into their lives, or new people that would be influencing them. Because whether you like it or not, their friends and their classmates will also be influencing your child, okay? The other part, or the last thing you want to pay attention to, is the environment. So if your child is going to a new school, I want to believe by now that you have done your due diligence. I want to believe by now you have asked, or before you decide to pick your child from your home and plant your child in that new environment that is called the school. I want to believe that what you made that decision, or the basis for that information went beyond the fact that they make all A's in that school. Okay, you have heard all kinds of things. Oh, the children in that school, they always pass WAEC, they always ace WAEC. I hope that's not the only basics for which you have dropped your child, or you're going to drop your child in that new school. There's the other one you hear, in that school, when they finish, they connect them with foreign universities, they get scholarships and all of that. I hope that's not just the basis. Okay, there is so much more. Okay, this place that you're going to drop your child, what kind of values do they have? What are the values that they promote in this place? Is it in tandem? Does it connect, or is there a connection between the values in this place with your value as a family? You want to find that. How about the discipline strategy in that place? Is it in tandem with your discipline strategy? You want to find that. What is your policy around discipline? Okay, what is your policy around misbehavior, bullying, and all of that? Okay, what is the safety measures that have been put in place in this I mean, in this school. Okay, what kind, I mean, what kind of curriculum do they run? Does this curriculum, I mean, is this curriculum one that will promote your child's, you know, that will promote your child's ability, capacity, and all of that? I mean, is it what will support the kind of child that you have? Is it the same? I mean, is there a connection between the curriculum in the new school with the curriculum that that the child has been used to from before now? Do you understand all of this? So you want to put all of these things into consideration. Your child's learning style. Will this school support the learning style? You know, all of this, I mean, this is out of what we're doing today. But basically, I'm trying to say, I am very sure that if your child is off to a new school, you've done your due diligence, and it goes beyond the fact that after 6 years, the child is going to get all A's. Okay? It goes beyond the fact that, oh, when the child goes there, he's going to learn to drink gari when there is no food, and all of those, funny things. All right, so I want to believe that it goes beyond that. Okay, so yes, the environment, that school environment alone is a curriculum. Okay, the school environment on its own is a curriculum, and it's very important that you understand where it is that you are dropping your child off, because that environment is also going to influence your child. Yeah, so these three things are things you don't want to take for granted. Okay, dear teacher, very, 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 very important. That's your new partner. That's your latest partner. Okay, their friends, okay, and your new classmates. Very important that you know who they are, and and all of that, and you keep abreast, with the gists and all that the children. I mean, create a communication line where you continue to hear what's going on in the classroom and with this new set of people. You want to know who your child is with, and who your child is listening to, and who your child is having conversations with. And then lastly, you want to pay attention to the environment that your child is going to be in the next 1 year. All right, so that's it. So today we're going to go straight into how you can help your child transit from the holiday into the classroom without stress. Okay, how you can help them do that so that they go right in and they're ready to run with what's going on in school, and they're ready to be successful. A lot of times we take many things for granted. Please, if you are in the background, don't just stay in the background. It's always nice to know that you have company. It's always nice to know that you have people with you. So if you are here, please say something in the comments. Let us know where you're watching from. Okay, say something in the comments and let us know where you are watching from. Okay, all right. And as I go on, I'm a teacher, right? I'm an educator. I like feedback. So please give us feedback. We want to know. And if you're here and your friend is not here, everybody needs to be here. As far as you have children who are going back to school, then you need to be here. So if there's anyone that needs to be here, please tag them. Let them come and be a part of this class. If you are watching the replay, please just type in the comments hashtag replay, and if there is anyone that needs to catch the replay with you, by all means, please go ahead and send them, tag them, of course, and let them come and take the value that we have cooked our dishes out here right now. All right, so the first thing you want to do as your children go back to school is you want to go back and look at your structure. Is there anything I can say without talking about structures? Okay, is there anything I can say without talking about creating structures and having a system that works in your home? You see, this topic or this idea of structure and having a system that works in your home cannot be overemphasized in the whole topic of parenting. As far as parenting is concerned, you can't parent without structures. Okay, you can't parent without having a system. because your parenting is going to have to ride on the system. Your parenting is going to depend on the systems that you have in place. It's not just parenting, it's everything. I mean, institutions, the best of institutions and the most successful institutions are the ones that have solid structures upon which they ride. So yes, if you're going to be successful, if your child is going to be successful this school year and beyond, then you have to create structure. You have to revisit your structure. You must have had some holiday routines and all of that. Okay, this is a time where you need to revisit your holiday routine, okay, and tweak it, okay, to accommodate going back to school. So first thing, the children need to change, or they need to tweak their bedtime if that was adjusted during the holiday. Sleep is very important, okay? Sleep is very, very important. It helps brain development and then brain activity. So if your children are going to start getting ready for all that brain activity, the cognitive activity that happens in the classroom, then we might as well start ensuring that the brain is getting all the rest that it needs, that the kids are getting all the rest that they need to be productive when they go back to school, and the time to help them get into that routine is right now. So by the time they practice, or by the time they practice that routine from now to the next 2 or 3 weeks when they will be returning to school, they would have eased into their new routine, and that will not be a problem. Okay, so usually what we do is we don't do anything, and then 2 days before school we begin to shout, okay, go and sleep, go and sleep. So the children resume school, and the first few days or week in school, they are not ready for school. They are dragging, they're not ready for school. And sometimes they start the term clashing, or they start the term, on a wrong note. And it's very important. It's very important. Okay, I tell you this as a teacher. It's very important that the first impression that your child has of his teacher, or that the teacher has of the child, is a good one. We all know generally that first impressions are very important. So yes, you want to help your child create a good first impression. Okay, the impression that your child's teacher has of the child early, I mean, believe it or not, could actually affect the rest of their relationship during the course of the year. Yeah, teachers don't have favorites. Teachers are the same with every child and all of that. Newsflash, teachers are human beings. Teachers are human beings. Somewhere down there, deep down there, they still know the child that is easy to support and the child that is not so easy to support, and naturally they will warm up to the child that is less stressful to support. So yes, you want to create a good impression from the beginning. I mean, there is no need to help for the child to struggle when they go back to school, when they can go to school ready and prepared. That is what successful people do. They prepare, right? Successful people prepare before they show up. So yes, you want to tweak that routine right away. You want to change your routine, okay? And then you want to create a new routine for the school year. So sit with the children and decide, okay? Sit with the children and decide, okay, we're going to resume school in a couple of weeks. Okay, so what time are we going to wake up to go to school? How did it go last term or last school year? Were you always early? Were you always struggling? Were you always yelling in the morning? Were you always yelling in the morning and all of that? If you had some challenges last year or last session, now this is the time to work on those challenges. This is the time to create a plan, okay, or to create routines and schedules that will help you deal with some of the things that you struggled with last session. So this is that time you want to deal with all of that. Now, parents, let me tell you this. This is a very big secret, and it's something that I struggled with also, okay? Now, the last thing you want to do with your child is teach your child to be shabby. The last thing you want to do is to teach your child to be what's the word now? Is it tardy now? Okay, you want to teach your children to show up at the right time for everything that they do. And the best way to train respect for time, the best way to train your children to be time conscious is to do it during these formative years when they go to school. So showing up in school at the right time is a very, very, very important training that you want to give your children. We take too many things for granted. And so one day you are in school early, the next day the children are the last to come into school. Another day the children are, it's just they're just tardy like that. Okay. So it's all over the place. They come in today early, they come in. So what you're doing, you think because we have the perfect excuse, oh, traffic and all of that, we have all of this excuse, we think it makes it okay. No, it is not okay. It is not okay. As much as you have the reason, you have the perfect excuse or a valid reason for why you arrive school late, you are training somebody and the child is being programmed. The brain does not work that way. The brain does not give the child the reason why the child is late today and says to the child, no, the brain doesn't do that. Okay, the child just learns that it is okay to show up late sometimes, early sometimes, provided you have, the excuse to give. So no, you don't want to do that. We want to train our children to know, to love, and to respect showing up at the right time. So your routine is very important for this purpose. You want to create routines that will help you. So yes, if you have monitored the system or you have monitored, you've monitored how, sorry about that, if you've monitored the system, okay, what you need to do to get to school early, then please incorporate that into your routine so that your children show up to school early every day. In fact, let it be second nature. Let it be a part of, if the class teacher is going to talk about kids who never come late, let your children be amongst those kids. Amazing, amazing training you will be giving these children. All right, so now, okay, so I was talking about creating structure. Okay, so I'm going to add here that creating the right structure is creating the blueprint for what is acceptable and what is not acceptable in your home. Okay, and this is how you actually set your children up for success. Okay, so when you create the right structure in your home, you are creating a blueprint for what is acceptable. All right, so have the routines. These and these and these and these and these are what we do in a day. We do 3-4 things in a day. Make sure you don't overcrowd your routine so that your children are able to accomplish everything on the routine. 3 items, 4 items is all that they do every day. And then create a schedule that fits these different items into the right time slots. So your children know that when they come back from school, they can play for 1 hour, okay, and then at 5 o'clock or 5:30 or 6 o'clock, they do their homework. Create this structure and put them in place. This will become the blueprint, okay, what is acceptable and what is not acceptable. And guess what? When you have this, you are killing two birds with one stone. You are also creating a discipline strategy in your home, because when you have the right structure in place, you take care of discipline. So when your children know these routines, they follow these routines, they know what to do per time. Please tell me, dear parents, when will you now have the case of you were supposed to do this, you did not do this, and then come here, you take the rod, and then you cane them. So when you have structure in place, you find that the discipline is dealt with. Okay, this discipline becomes an easy thing. So that is very, very important. Now, our children may not say it, okay? Our children may not say it, but they are constantly begging for boundaries. They are constantly begging for structure. They are constantly begging to have a system. So they may not say, they may not even understand it enough to say that to you. But how your child thrives, okay, how your child thrives, or how your child is able to live their lifestyle richly, or the kind of life your child is able for your child to live a productive life, the child is going to depend on your ability to create structures and create boundaries in your home. Okay, so you want to note this, okay, that creating structure will help your children to practice independence also. When you create structures, you help your children to practice independence. Because when you have these routines and schedules, you have policies in your home, what is acceptable, what is not acceptable, you have boundaries, you have a media plan or a media policy. Okay, you have media policy, you have your spiritual activities and the time that you have allotted for spiritual activities. You have when homework is done. You have when they study. You have all of these things in place. What you're teaching your children is to know that there is time for everything. Okay, and when they know this, meaning they are able to execute they are able to execute these things on their own. And when they're able to execute these things on their own, what do you think you're doing? You are teaching them to be independent, meaning they can navigate their entire day without you shouting, screaming, and hitting them. Okay, it starts with you just giving them prompts. Okay, antecedents are very important. What antecedents do you have as a parent? Okay, antecedents are the things that you do as a parent that will ensure or the likelihood of your child doing something or not doing that thing. So what are the antecedents that you have? Creating structure is a correct and an amazing antecedent. Okay, the fact that you have created structure in your home and then you are able to use prompts. Prompts is an antecedent. Okay, you're able to use those prompts, right, to remind your children or to prompt your children, as the word is. Okay, to prompt them. Hello, I can't see who is saying hello. Hi, it's good to have you. All right. So the antecedent is what now makes your child or remind your child to do what they need to do. So what antecedents do you have as a parent? Okay, these are the things that you have in place or the things that you do that will increase the likelihood of your child doing something or not doing that thing. So if you're a parent that comes in and all you do when you want to give instruction to your children, I am warning you people before I come back today, make sure you have this is a negative antecedent, negative prompt. So it is likely not, your child is likely not going to do that thing. But this is the mistake. We always think that it is that fierceness and that fear that we put in our children and make them do it. No, that fear, this negative antecedent, turn our children into hypocrites. It doesn't make our children do things, it turns them into hypocrites. Because what happens is this child is likely not going to do this thing because they want to or they understand why they need to do it. The child is just going to wait, and then when your car goes boom outside or the gate man is getting the gate, they begin to run around, run around the place trying to pretend or trying to rush and do these things. And this is not the plan. This is not what we want to achieve with our children. We do not want to create hypocrites. We do not want to we do not want to train children who are hypocrites. We do not want to train children who cannot more self-motivate or children who cannot do things because it is the right thing to do. We want children who will not be slaves to obeying us. We want children who do things that they do because it is the right thing to do. And how do we ensure that this is the case? We ensure this is the case by the kind of antecedents that we have or the antecedents that we use as parents. Okay, I think I've exhausted this creating structure. All right, so the next thing you want to do is you want to practice habits that will help your children succeed in school. You want to practice, I'm saying that again, you want to help them practice habits that will help them succeed in school. Hi, Christy. Okay, so now what are these habits that will help your children let me give you examples of the habits that will help your children succeed in school. So you have a preschooler, right? You have your child that is going back to nursery 2 or going back to kindergarten. So what do you want? And this applies. You can apply for all your kids, even the ones in secondary school and all that. So what do? You role play. I do this a lot. So during this last 2 weeks before school resumes, so what you want to do, start preparing for school. So if you can, or if you have not already, or if you're doing that this week, please buy the stationery that you need for school. Okay, buy all the pencils, erasers, and all of that that you need in school. We're going to get to this as we continue to, in the conversation. Okay, the other thing you will need to do, or you will have to do, okay, is to get your children. We'll talk about this later. You get your children into the frame. Okay, that's back to school mind, their mind, get their mind, within that frame, back to school frame. Okay, in doing that, there's certain activities that we'll start introducing before the children go to school. Now, when you introduce these, I'm not saying create a classroom environment per se in your home, but where you want to create organization while your children are working. You can even do that with the kitchen and everything when they eat and all of that. So create a system and help your children practice that system consistently in this last 2 weeks or 3 weeks before they go to school. So when they work, okay, if you did not have a routine, or you did not have as part of your routine studying, then this is the time to put it. So tweak your routine and put a 30 minutes, okay, 20, 30 minutes, 1 hour, 45 minutes, 1 hour at the most, okay, study time, pending on the age of your child. So when your children go off to do this, it could be that they are coloring, it could be that they are painting, it could be that they're just reviewing a story, it could be that whatever, they're just doing whatever it is that they're doing. They will use pencils, they will use erasers and all of that. When they are done, okay, let part of the routine be that they clean up. Let them clear up their stuff when they are done. Practice that with them. As I said, antecedents should be a part of your parenting. Okay, know how to use prompts. Know how to use prompts. Very important in your parenting journey. Now, if I say something, let's say my daughter is here and she's coloring, and I come in and I'm like, wow, amazing, that thing. I mean, what did you color that? It's so pretty. Woo, it's like 10 minutes before the end of your study time. When you're done, I'm sure you know what to do afterwards. And she'll be like, yes. And I'll be like, oh, so what are you going to do when you're done with coloring? Then she will say to me, I'll pack my pencil and all of that. So that's it. You have just prompted the child to do the right thing. Okay. And then you walk away. See what you did? You prompted the child and then got the child to finish the thoughts. So now the child has finished the thoughts. It is the child on his own went ahead to, respond to what she is supposed to do. So she knows what she's supposed to do, isn't it? Other times you can come in and you're like, oh, almost 10 minutes before cleanup time, and then you go off. So you find that because you have prompted the child will finish and the child will clear up. Okay, so when the child comes out to you or whatever, you come in and all that, are you done? And she'll be like, yes, you did everything? Yes, everything? Okay, let's go to the room. Let me go see with you and all of that. So you can go into the room and then you look at it and you're like, someone did not finish here. So I'm just going to go to the kitchen while you round up. What you're doing is you're using prompts, okay? And antecedents. As I said, antecedents are the way we give our children instructions. How we instruct them is going to create, the likelihood that they would do that thing, from a place of reasoning, or they are forced to do that thing. And anything that is forced, anything that is forced can never have the same effect. Okay, I've said this formula over and over again. Okay, activity plus a sense of satisfaction will create motivation. And this is how your child learns. When your child is doing an activity and your child gets a sense of satisfaction from that activity, your child is motivated to do that activity. And as children, everybody, in fact, as we practice over and over again, we become experts, okay? Or we become good at that thing. We become experts at that thing. This is how expertise is actually created, okay, through practice. But then again, that practice has to be through because you are motivated. And how do you get motivated? Because the activity gives you a sense of satisfaction. Now, this is why a lot of our children they are not true, they are not lifelong learners. Okay, this is why a lot of our children do not enjoy learning. And this is why a lot of our children do not really learn. What they do is they cram. They do not learn, they cram. And that's why we are the way we are. A lot of us did not learn. We just crammed our way through school. So that is the reason why when there is exam, you're jumping and you're running all over the place, because you need to dedicate 3 days, 1 week, 2 weeks to packing everything into your head. And then when it's time for the exam, you just go there and you pour everything. You give it to them and all that. Then you pass. 3 weeks later, come and ask you number 20 of what it is that you aced. The idea is just all over the place and all of that. And it's painful that we're doing the same thing to our children. Very, very painful. Especially because our children belong to a world, okay? Our children are in a century, they're in a world that doesn't need any of that. Doesn't need any of that. Why are you cramming so many nonsense when all you need to do is punch this, and you will get the same solution? Okay, so it's not about cramming 1,000 formulas anymore. I hope you know that. It's not about cramming 1,000 formulas. Now they go for exams and the formulas are actually, given to them because they know it's beyond formulas and all that. So we've gone past all that cramming and you don't want to do that to your child. Okay, so have your children with these habits. Okay, have them with these habits where they return things because they are going to need that when they go back to school. That is the first thing your child is going to do to put his teacher off. His new teacher, he misses new teacher, and then of course the first day of school, everybody's like, hey. Second day he comes to school and then he drops his bag on the floor and walks to go and play and talk with his friends. The next day he comes, he drops it on his table and goes off. Meanwhile, the teacher has a routine. So the first 1 week, 2 weeks, your child is constantly putting that teacher off. I've already told you, whether you like it or not, scratch all that thing they tell you. Oh, teachers love all the children equally. Sure, you know I was a teacher. I am a teacher, Abby. Right? Scratch all that. Teachers love all the kids equally. A teacher will warm up, just like you, a parent, will warm up to that child who is constantly following instructions and is constantly being empathetic and supportive. So a teacher will warm up to that child who is not the one stressing her. For goodness sake, she has 30 children to deal with. The last thing she wants is 8 of those children constantly doing the wrong thing, throwing their bags around and all of that. Like it or not, the teacher will warm up to the child who is more organized. So you want to help your child. Apart from whether the teacher warms up or doesn't warm up, the teacher will have to correct your child constantly. And sometimes they may not do that in the easiest way. And I don't know why we do this, why we think our children should go and struggle, or why we think our children should go and suffer in the name of learning by experience. Who told you that experience is the best teacher? Or no, mentorship is actually the best teacher, as my coach said to me, my mentor said to me the other day, mentorship is actually the best teacher. It's actually a better teacher than experience. So why allow the child go and experience falling for something that the child can learn, that you can model, and the child can practice and not have to fall? Is it like we deliberately set our children to fall because we feel learning has to be the hard way? I think it's the environment. These are environments in this part of the world. There's something that informs our mentality that for something to be authentic, it needs to be difficult. There's something that has messed us up. We feel for something to be authentic or for something to be real, for you to come out refined, you must suffer in the sense that it must pain. Who said it has to be like that? The whole learning process and the hard work that goes with the learning process It's refining you on its own. So there's nothing when the scripture talks about refining you or passing you through the furnace and all of that, doesn't necessarily mean that that furnace must be a furnace that must burn you in the way that you might not recover. The hard work on its own is the furnace that you're passing through. So why don't you help the children pass through these things that may appear hard to them at the time you're teaching and practicing and helping them practice, as opposed to them going to have one person that you're not even sure how emotionally balanced that person is and how well that person can be stretched emotionally. And then you allow some random teacher somewhere to throw all kinds of negative words at your child, all in the name of their training them. No, I'm not going to do that. I don't do that. Okay, I will try as much as possible. All right, not to allow that. All right, so that's number two. Number three, okay, number two, practice habits. Number three is introduce academic activities. Okay, for this last 2 or 3 weeks that your children have to go back to school, this is the time. Okay, they've been playing the whole of summer. I am of the school of thought that children should not do strenuous or serious academic activities during the holiday. So no, I don't do lesson teacher, baja, baja, baja. I really don't do that. I would rather not do that. Okay. During the holiday, I want the children to learn through other ways, other activities. There are 1,001 ways to learn. And learning doesn't always have to be instructive. You don't always have to be someone instructing the child for the child to learn. Okay. They are learning that the child would do on their own. There are things that the child will find out, exploration, researches, that the child would discover, things that the child would discover on their own. And the holiday is a good time for self-discovery. So I don't think it's the best of time for instructions again. They get all the instructions in school. They get instructions all the time. And then even during the holiday, you want to keep instructing. So I think you return them. But now the last 2 weeks of school is a good time to introduce a bit of it. So this is a time that you probably want to go and get their script from last term. Okay, this is the time you want to go through the part of their exams that they probably didn't do well, and you want to look at it together. Okay, so let's look at this together. Let's make sure we have cleared the backlog from your previous class before we jump into the new class. So this is the time you want to go through those scripts with them, or you have them, you're going to work, you can say to them, okay, I would need you to go through your scripts on your own, look at it again, and if you can make corrections of the things that you didn't do well during the exam, you will find that a lot of times, okay, they can actually do it on their own, because during that exam situation, some of them don't just pay attention, okay, or they just leave a few things here and there out. Okay, so give them the chance to do that, and then you can come back and you can spend 20 minutes to look at it together. Okay, or you can, that's fine. If you want to call back their lesson teacher at this point, if your children do lesson teachers, this is a good time to ask the lesson teacher to resume, not for 2 hours, but for 40 minutes, 45 minutes, 30 minutes perhaps, just because, you want to gradually ease back into the whole school thing, but not for new things. Just let them go through brush through what they did last, school year, last term. Okay, another thing you can do is introduce fun spelling bee at this point. So what we do during the holiday is the children read a lot of books during the holiday, and when we read, we do spelling words. So they write down. So we do the vocabulary that they've never come across, and all our new words and all of that. So they write their new words, okay, in their logbook. Okay, and then for my daughter to create extra activity, we also write it. She writes on strips, and then we cut the strips and put in her jar. Sorry, I was thinking it was close by. I would have shown you her jar. So she has the strips in her word jar. All right. So what you do with the word jar this period, you can decide, tell the children, oh, we're going to have a spelling bee next week. So I'm doing a program with parents, my everyday parenting journey for the month of August. So most of them are having a spelling bee with their children tomorrow, it's Friday or Saturday. So the kids read books in the last week, and they got their spelling words that they've had since we started the program. So they're going to use that and create a spelling bee. Okay, so it's going to be a fun evening snack and drinks and all of that. Make big of it because the children would be practicing their spelling words, all this while. No, so you write down the spelling words for each child, and then they have a competition. So they all sit like real spelling bee situation. They sit, and then you go choose the number. So one child's number could be 1 to 20, depending on the number of words she has. 1 to 20, the other one has from 21 to 40, and then the other one has from, like that. And then you give each of them, okay, Ada, you have from number 1 to number 20. Peak, and then she'll tell you number 4, and then you tell her the word, and then she tries to speak. Then spell habitat, and then she goes, correct. So everybody claps. So like real spelling bee situation. So this is is a way to like jolt them back into the school situation. Okay, you can do that. You can do book reviews. So the books that they have read, you can decide, okay, out of the books you read, maybe they read 2 or 3 books during the summer holiday, we're going to have a book review. All right, so pick pick the best, all right, so pick the best or one of the books that you read for your review, and then the child can create a presentation. That presentation can be done with cardboard. You can do cardboard, and then they can put their author, setting, the author, the setting, the beginning of the story, the middle of the story, the end of the story, a summary of the story, the character, and all of that, and they can do a review. Some of them, if they decide to do a PowerPoint presentation for their review, they can do that. Okay, so this is an academic activity that you can introduce, at this period before it's time to go back to school. A third activity that you can do is you can do math drills. Okay, math drills are very important. Multiplication table is a big thing. Okay, so if you want your children to get the hang of math and not be kids who hate math and all of that, then you need to make sure they get the hang of the multiplication table. And this is a good time to bring it back on. So you can do for your 5-year-olds, you want to do 2 times, 3 times table. For your 6-year-old, 2, 3, 4. Don't worry, it's amazing. You'll be amazed that the children can actually do it. Okay, so you introduce one set of table every till the child is done with it or can do it properly. All right, so don't let them go to that. Let them build the table on their own. Okay, teach them that multiplication is repeated addition. So let them do the repetition. 3 plus 3, 3 here, add them together. How many 3 is that? 2. So meaning 3 in 2 places. That's 3 times 2 places is equal to 6. So let them build the multiplication table like that from the beginning to the end, and then you can do math drills. When you're in the kitchen cooking, hey, can see 8 times 4, he tells you. 8 times 10, he tells you. 8 times 4, he tells you. 8 times 6, like that. Throw it like that so that they internalize and it's not just a song. So that when you say 8 times 5, be like, wait. He has to sing to that part before he gets it. It means that it's not internalized per se. Okay, so even if they do the thing like that, yeah, but you want to do the math drill too, so that apart from it being a song, they can also get their mind around it like this. The math drill will help with that. All right, so that's number 3. So let's go quickly to number 4. Number 4 is create home support plan. Aha! You want to create a home support plan for your children. All right, we started a course right today. We started a course in the academy right today. How to create a personalized education plan for your kids. I've done this for 7 years, 8 years. I've created a personalized education plan for my children. So yes, if I tell you that by the time my child was in year 3 or going on year 4, I left him to do his thing on his own. Yes, I can, as in I can afford to leave my son. Like, I don't do homework with him. I don't study for exams with him. He doesn't have no lesson teacher. I don't remind him when to do home. I don't do nothing. I just allow him run his thing. So what we just do is we review. So what went on in school today, he tells me what went on in school today. I look at his log book or when he comes back from school to be sure that he's not having challenges anywhere. His teacher is not saying anything negative and all of that. Okay, when it's time for test, sometimes he has assessment. I don't even. He just tells me, we have assessment on Tuesday. Oh, good luck with that. I hope you read. And he's like, oh yes, you read and all of that. And then I go out. I come back sometimes. Okay, so did you spend time reading today? Oh yeah. I read for about 2 hours and all of that. I could do that because I have created this plans. We've worked on the plans. I have helped the child come to the place where the child can study, can learn, enjoys learning, and can do all of these on its own. Yes, he is a child, okay? So from time to time, okay, if you don't check on him, he can probably just drift away because there are times his teacher will actually say to me, oh, he didn't do this homework or he didn't do that homework. So we come back and we have a conversation. You will keep checking in on the child. Okay, you keep checking in. But as for running his thing himself and doing his show, I let him do that because I want to know where he's at without my support and without my support or without anybody's support. And I do that from time to time. I do it, I step away, and then I come back if there's a need. I do that, I step away. You need to help children gain stamina by stepping away from time to time and coming back, okay, to be sure that without you, the child is fine. And with you, the child is extra. Do you understand? Without a teacher or lesson teacher, the child is good. With a lesson teacher, the child goes over, the child is extra. So you want to do that from time to time. And then allow the child, okay? You will get to the point where you're not afraid to allow the child try on his own, whether he passes or he fails. Relax. We need to stop all these. You need to stop being you need to stop being a slave to grades. Okay, you need to stop being a slave to grades. And the reason you are such a slave to your children's grade is because you know that your children do not have the capacity to do things on their own. Because if they have the capacity or they have the capacity really, you know that they don't have the ability to do things on their own. So why send them to all these amazing schools? Why pay all this money and do all this thing and you're still afraid that child cannot do things on their own? So or is education, is it such that people should be held by their hands all the time? So can we say a person is educated when the person cannot, where the person cannot take what the person has learned and then give it expression on his own? Can we say that? So why do we support them all the way right till the point where they have the pencil in their hand to do the exam and then we step back? They're just going to regurgitate what we've done with them. Then we regurgitate that. Then the next day, we do the support again. See, 2 minutes before the exam, they pour that one too. So you will never really know the true situation, okay, or the true capacity or ability of your learner if you keep doing that. So at some point, you will have to step away and let the child do it on his own. Do it. Let him self-motivate himself. I'm talking of your kids as they grow older. My son is going to year 7, secondary school. So I took time during, that year 4, year 5. I could risk, those times. Year 4, year 5, I could risk it. And even I stretched it. By year 6, I was even a bit lazy to come back and do like the full work, but stretch it that far to see. So from year 4 to 6, I know everything that my son did. I know it's him. So even if it doesn't come top in a sub, I don't even care. I don't even know. I don't know whether he comes. They don't do position in his school. So I don't even know whether he comes first, he tops, he does. I don't know nothing. I don't ask those questions. We don't have a conversation. We don't even talk about it. All I know is his grades come and I see 96, 94, 98. Sometimes I even see 85. It's fine. I just look at the subject. Where is he getting it 5? Oh, consistently, it's social studies, it's French, this kind of thing. And I see all of that. Oh, sometimes occasionally, oh, it's somewhere in language arts, and then it's something. I'm like, okay, do you need support? Or if I'm thinking not need support, I'll come in. Where's the topic that you're struggling with? We will help with that topic and then back off again. So we need to help our children gain stamina on their own. Now he's in JSS1, we're going to support him 100% because it's a new terrain, it's a new place. Okay, there's a level of consistency that he has to have. Okay, and all of that. So we will support him 100% at this point. Even if it comes to the point where he's struggling with a particular subject and we need to bring someone to support him, we will do that. If we can support him on our own, we will do that. Okay, support him again at this level. Okay, just one, maybe somewhere around just two, I'll back off again and I'll see how he can navigate, on his own. Maybe first 10, we must, like retreat and come back, retreat and come back so that children can gain stamina and they can do things for themselves. We baby our children so much. Okay, and then last thing is prepare to meet the teacher. Prepare to meet your child's teacher. Please do not take it for granted. Do not take it for granted. Your meeting or your impression with the impression you make on your class, your son, your child's class teacher. Okay, as I said, your child's class teacher is going to be a voice that is mighty. Can you see how I'm saying it? Your child's class teacher is going to be a mighty voice in the head of your child for an entire year. This human being is going to influence your child for an entire year. This human being is going to say words that will mean so much to your child for an entire year. This human being will share a room with your child for at least 5 to 8 hours every day for 5 days every week. This human being is going to have mannerism that your child is likely going to pick, especially for your younger kids. This human being is going to have ideologies, mindsets, okay? He's going to have all sort of beliefs and all kinds of practice, if you like, okay, that directly or indirectly is going to be able to, influence your child, okay, and affect how your child sees the world, your child's perspective of the world. And you want to joke with this human being? No, you do not want to joke with this human being. So, yes, on the first day of school, prepare to meet your child's teacher. Okay? A good way to prepare is have your child write a note to his teacher. Or even he doesn't even know who the teacher is. So let him write a blind note to his teacher. Okay, in that blind note, let your child tell your teacher, his teacher, who he is. So have a conversation with your kids. So we are having the personalized, creating an education plan for your child. I'm doing this with I think we have up to 15 parents in that course. We're starting today. So if you want to join us, you can still join us for that course too, because this course is going to change the trajectory of how these parents, the trajectory in this children's education for these parents who are taking the course. Okay? It will give you everything that you need to support your child at home and how to work with your child's teacher. So you can start this way. Have the children, let it be written by the child in the child's handwriting if your child is old enough. Okay, if your child is young, hi, Chidinma, it's good to have you. If your child is young, let your child draw a picture of who she thinks her teacher would be or should be. Okay, and let the child express themselves in that letter to their teacher. Let them address that letter to their teacher. Dear Miss, I don't know who you would be, but I want to tell you that I am going to love you. Let it be the child's words, basically. Let the child say to the teacher who he is. I am Emanuela and I love to play a lot so that the teacher will know. I love to do things with my hands. So you must know your child. I love to do things with my hands, and I may not always sit down in one place, but I am always listening to you. Let your child tell his teacher who he is in that letter. I will listen to you. I mean, give me instruction. I might not hear you the first time you give me instruction. Please instruct me a second time. Don't be angry. I would do it. Basically, let your child give the teacher an idea of who he is. Now, on the first day of school, please don't drop your children at the lobby and go back. On the first day of school, that is not the day that the driver and the house help will take your child to school. On the first day is not the day that you go to school when you are 10 minutes late or you are almost late for work. On the third first day is the day you go to school and you have a whole 20 minutes or 30 minutes to walk the child to the classroom, to go in and see the classroom, to have a little chit chat with the teacher and all of that. It's the day that even if you don't smile, you want to wear a big smile. Remember, you have a partnership with this human being that is going to last for a whole year. Whether you like it or not, this human being is going to be influencing your child. This one human being can come and topple everything that you have done in your parenting with your child. If you don't bother to know who this person is and you don't let the person know that you take the front wheel in the education of your child. So the parents we're working with, we're teaching them to take the front wheel in the education of their children. So when they go to class, they go to the teacher like someone who knows her child. There's someone who knows his child. There's someone who has plans for his children. Like someone who has prepared a plan that they hope to achieve at the end of the school year. You're sharing your plan with your child's teacher. You're saying to your child's teacher, these are our hopes and dreams for the end of this school year. You're saying to your child's teacher, we want to work with you and we would like you to support the dreams that we have for our child. You're saying to the child's teacher, I will be here whenever you need me. Oh, I will be willing to volunteer if there is a need for volunteering in your classroom. You want to assure the teacher that you understand your relationship and you're ready to partner with them and that they can depend on you when it comes to supporting them, your child, and that class. Very important. So prepare to meet your child's teacher intentionally because this person has got the ears, the mind, and the heart of your child for one whole year, especially with your younger kids. Thank you very much, everyone. We are going to have to stop right here. Do you have a copy of Mentor Parents? Most of what I say every day is right here. What I've done with the kids for the last, what I've done with the kids for the last 12 years. I have tried to break it down in this one book in stories. I just tell stories here and there, of what we did here, there, here, there. In the stories, you will pick all the lessons that you need and you'll pick things that you can, tweak or you can use directly in your own situation. All right. So my son also wrote a book, Baby Steps. So Baby Steps tells you how he has been supported. So it corroborates that story. I had to write that when he decided to write this. So this was my son's first decade project. Okay, when he turned 10, he decided he was going to share how he has been supported by us, his mentors, his teachers, and all of that. I respect teachers absolutely. I hope I don't sound in any way like I don't. I respect teachers absolutely. But I know that teachers cannot do it on their own. And as a teacher, I understand that the teacher depends on you. He's begging, hoping, and believing that you would also support your child, reinforce what she's doing, and be able to take what she's doing or he's doing with the child and consolidate at home. Because, hey, your child is not being trained for just an education. Your child is being trained for the human being that they would be. Okay, it's the wholesome person that education is about. It's not just about the mental state or the cognitive ability of your child. Education is just supposed to be a part of training a wholesome human being. So it's very important. So the teacher is depending on you, I'll tell you. Okay, it's depending on you. So what he's done, he's talked about how his teachers have supported him, how we have supported him, his dad and I, how his mentors have supported him, how he struggled in many areas, and how he was able to make progress and is still making progress right now. So both books, 3,000 naira each, amazing, amazing books. You don't want to miss it. Okay, so if you want any of our books, just let us know in the comments. And we're just starting. This evening actually is when we're starting the personalized education plan for our children. So you still have a chance to join us. It's going to be a very smooth, and even I am excited about the scores because I'm using it also to so I had to wait for this course to do it with the parents. Okay, so prepare the education, the plans for my children for this school year. So even I am excited because it's going to be like an amazing, amazing one. It's a course that you take on your own, really. You know, it's the materials that there you're going to take on your own and all that. And when it comes to the point where you are creating the plan, then I will come in. You will need me at some point in creating. I mean, the video, everything will be there for you, and then of course you will need to like, you know, back and forth. You have free and direct access to me when you're creating those plans, and we can do it together. All right, thank you very much for everyone. I can see your comments. I am using StreamYard. Okay, I can see some people. I can see Chidima, Christy. I can see just a few people. Yes, please. So thank you for everyone who joined. If you're catching the replay, please say so in the comments. And please, if you have any questions, type them. I will answer your question when I finish the session. If there is any, I can't see any right now. Thank you very much once more. We always like to do this with you, and we are super, super excited to always be on your screen, and do not take for granted that you allow us to be a part of your parenting journey. Have a lovely, lovely evening. Bye. Bye, everyone. Bye to you, Facebook. Boom, shaka, boom, shaka.